Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Fats, aka Cam Jennings, coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. Welcome to another live stream. Man, I've been trying to do more live streams these days. Been trying to just, get some more good, helpful content out there that will help people move their businesses forward. And today I want to talk to you guys about this idea of, what is a beginner? Because, hey, Beverly, how are you? Because I see a lot of people out there on the internet, in the internet marketing space, trying to learn how to be marketers, trying to get online businesses started. And most of them seem very well informed. And that's really cool. So it kind of led me to ask this question, what is a beginner and why does it even matter? Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is why it matters. Okay, why does it matter how you classify yourself, as whether you're a beginner or an intermediate or whatever? What does that even matter? So the first thing I want to talk about is there's this effect I learned about a little while back. It was called the Lindy effect. And the Lindy effect is, it's a principle they use in the stock market. It's kind of a concept, and what it says is it basically says it's kind of the opposite of a human life, right? Basically, the Lindy effect states that the longer something is around, the longer it will probably be around, right? Let me read the actual definition to you, because I don't know if I'm doing that justice. The Lindy effect is a concept that the future life expectancy of some non-perishable thing, like a technology or an idea or a business, guys, right? And that's what we're talking about, business here. But the future life expectancy of that non-perishable thing is proportional to their current age, so that every additional period of survival implies a longer remaining life expectancy. So you guys see what I'm saying? With humans, it's like when you're talking about living creatures, the longer something is alive, the shorter it is expected to be alive, right? But with business, it's a little different. With business, the longer something is around, the Lindy effect states that the longer it will probably be around. Basically, the more battle tested it is, the longer it's around. And now we're talking about health here too, right? Because in business and in the stock market, even though this isn't really about the stock market, this video is not about the stock market. I'm just explaining to you where I learned about the Lindy effect. Basically, health and how long something's been around is a big factor to determine if it's going to continue to be around. Like right now, the company AT&T, I don't know if you're familiar with what's happening with AT&T right now, but right now AT&T is kind of in this lull, like their stock is actually down. It's lower than it's been in quite a long time. And they're kind of in this down period, right? And, but the thing about AT&T is it's what you call an aristocrat dividend stock. And what that means is, make sure I got this right. I'm not a stock market expert, but I have been studying dividend stocks for the last 3 or 4 months. What that means basically is that AT&T's dividends have continued to increase for the last 25 years. Every single year, their dividend has increased. And what I mean by dividend is amounts that it pays back to its shareholders. So if you had a stock of AT&T, then either quarterly or yearly or biannually, you would receive a small dividend per each share of stock. Well, for the last 25 years, that dividend has increased with AT&T, and that's why they call that an aristocrat stock. But the point is, that's an example of what would be considered a safe bet with the Lindy effect, right? The Lindy effect would state that AT&T's been around for a long time. They're probably going to be around for a long time. It's an example of, a non-organic thing, a non-perishable thing, and it falls under that category of the Lindy effect. So why am I talking about the Lindy effect? I feel like we're getting a little too deep into this. The reason I'm talking about it is because I'm trying to help you guys figure out what's a beginner and what's not a beginner. Because the point is, if you feel like you're a beginner, right, you're going to move a little bit different. You're going to move a little bit more humble. You're going to be a little bit more open-minded to things. But if you feel like you're not a beginner, if you feel like you've seen a lot, you're not going to be as open-minded to things. You're not going to see the mistakes. You're not going to look at things quite so analytical. You might be a little overconfident. You might be a little bit cocky when you shouldn't be cocky. And you're just not going to see things the way you need to see them to grow your business or to move forward. We've all been guilty of arrogance, okay? I'm the first one to admit I've moved in an arrogant way that probably hasn't helped my business in the past. But the point is, it's good to know if you're a beginner. So anyways, the Lindy effect states that, right? The Lindy effect states that, hey, however long something's been around, it's probably there's a good chance it's going to be around that long into the future, right? So what does it mean to be around? Well, to me and to most people and to people looking at the stock market, it means how long you've been in business, right? Do you run a business that makes money, right? Are you running a business? Do you have a blog? Do you have a little publishing company? Do you have something happening that is bringing in money, right? Is it bringing in money consistently, right? Are you bringing in money every month with it? For however long you've been doing that, it stands to reason. The more battle tested you are, the longer you do that, the longer you will be around, the longer your business will continue to be around. So that's the Lindy effect. Eugene McGrath, what is up, man? It's going great. It's going great. I'm just, doing my thing, babbling on. So anyways, what I noticed in the marketplace today is we have a lot of well-informed beginners. A lot of well-informed beginners. Guys, I would say, 20 years ago, this is 2019. We could take this back to like the year 2000, before I was anywhere close to this space. But I've read a lot about that time period. And I've talked to a lot of people who were doing marketing back in that time period. Marlon Sanders. I've talked to a lot of people who were doing business back then. And what I've heard, and you guys have probably heard these stories too. Let me know if you've heard these stories. But the stories were, we used to sell our courses for more money, and we used to have more buyers. People were more responsive. It wasn't nothing to sell an ebook for $37, and people would buy it all day long. And you could make a lot more money a lot quicker back then. Now, you guys have probably heard those stories the same as me. And these days, it's a little different than that. I believe that one of the reasons it's different than that, you guys, is because the marketing has changed a little bit. One of the ways we market now, one of the predominant ways we market now is through education and information. So as a result of that, you're going to find a lot of free information out there, a lot of free information out there, a lot of free webinars, a lot of free videos, just like this one that you're watching now, a lot of free YouTube stuff, a lot of free stuff out there, right? So what happens is you got a lot of people out there who haven't really done a lot or haven't really succeeded at doing a lot. They don't really have any kind of consistent revenue happening. They might have tried a few things. They might have hit a couple things here. They might have made a couple dollars there, but they're not consistently producing revenue. They don't have a business that's actually making money every month, right? They don't have that going on yet, but they've listened to a ton of webinars. They've watched a ton of YouTube videos. They've seen a ton of blog articles. They've watched a ton of these live streams like this one. And they have like a lot of information in their head. And they're kind of well-informed beginners. Now, a well-informed beginner, like sometimes they don't classify themselves as a beginner. Sometimes they feel like they've seen a lot. And even though they haven't had a lot of success, they don't feel like a beginner because they know so much, They And they start to get into this place where they feel like I've seen it all, I've heard it all before, I know exactly how this works, I know exactly how that works, and they have all these preconceived notions about these things that they've never really actually tried that much or done that much, but they've heard about it a lot, they've read about it a lot, they've saw a lot about it, they've talked to the people who do it a lot, and they don't necessarily classify themselves as beginners, and because of that, they might not be quite as open to trying things as a beginner. So there's a lot of well-informed beginners out there. And I tell you something, I think that, for a long time, we were in this age of information. The age of information, where the information was out there and it was all over the place. But I believe this, you guys. I believe that we are moving away from the age of information. I believe we are moving into an age of insight, And in the age of insight, it's not going to be necessarily about the information, because the information is all over the place. Information is being puked on you daily, right? From all over the place, from people who know what they're talking about and from people who don't know what they're talking about. It's being puked all over you daily. And people have a lot of information. But what people are lacking right now is insight. They're getting a lot of information from a lot of different places, and the information is all over the place to be had. But what they're lacking is insight. So I think that this idea of the age of insight, it's going to change the way we make courses in the coming years. It's going to change the way we market in the coming years. I believe it's going to require more concise information, less like information, but more concisely delivered, right? People don't want 1,000 ways to do something. People just want the one way to do something, and they don't want it delivered. I was looking at a book. I'll give you an example. I was looking at a book yesterday that I was really interested in buying. It was called Soda Politics by somebody named Marianne Nestle. It's called Soda Politics. And it's all about how the soda companies have used political stuff and marketing, like dirty marketing, to kind of like brainwash people into loving soda and everything like that. And it looked really fascinating. But what turned me off about that book when I was looking at it, and what kind of made me hesitate to not want to buy it, was the fact that it was 512 pages. So in my mind, I was thinking, wow, this is a $10 book, and it's an ebook, and it's 500 pages long. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through a 500-page book. I don't know if I'm going to be able to power my way through it. I'd rather pay $10 for the audio book. You know what I'm saying? So how many of you guys have felt that way? How many of you guys have not bought in a book or turned down a book because there was just way too many pages? It was too long. And I don't think that's just me. I think that's a lot of people. And I think that's an indication that we're moving away from the age of information, you guys, and into an age of insight. You're going to start seeing people more interested in book summaries and less interested in the whole book. You're going to be more interested in people listening to the audio book than reading the entire book. It's an age of insight. People want the information. They give me the shortened, condensed version. Give me the back of the book summary. And dude, tell me exactly what to do. I don't care if there's 1,000 ways to accomplish something. Just give me the way to do. Just give me one way to do it. I just need one way to do it successfully. Show me that way. And then I think, to go along with that, I think people are going to want courses with more support. So less information, more concise information, and better customer support, right? More hand-holding customer support. And I think that's going to be the age of insight, basically. So look, here's what I suggest. A lot of you guys out there who are going to probably watch this on replay, you probably are what I would consider a beginner. Some of you might not be, but a lot of you probably will be. Here's what I suggest. You know, when you're an informed beginner, it's tough because you feel like you've seen everything. Your problem's not information. Your problem is experience. What I suggest is just going out there and trying some things and seeing how it goes. And then what you should be doing is not just trying those things, but you should be documenting your efforts, whether making videos about what you tried and what your results were, or whether that's writing blog posts about what you tried and what your results were. That content is probably going to be worth more than the actual things you're trying, right? That content represents your experience. That content represents the foundation of what will be your business that's making you money every month. The content is important. That is your story. That is the evolution of you and your online business. So, and I don't think enough beginners are doing that. I don't think enough beginners are going out there and actually trying something. They're trying to jump right to the teaching part, right? You know, before I started Epic Conversions, you guys, that wasn't my first online business. The first thing I was doing was selling books on Amazon, right? And a lot of you guys probably already knew that. But I used to sell books on Amazon, and then I got into selling. I was making. Look, don't downplay that. I was like a real Amazon bookseller. Like literally, at my highest point of selling books on Amazon, guys, I bought an entire church library of books. Okay, I'm talking like 3,000 books. And, you know, so that was my biggest purchase. And I had a climate controlled storage unit. So I was really, really hot and heavy into online book selling. Okay. That was my first big online thing. But I don't consider that internet marketing. That was selling on Amazon. And, so that was me trying something and doing something. And then, I wrote a book about how to do that, how to be an online bookseller, right? Wrote a book about it, right? And you guys, you know how I wrote that book? I'll tell you how I wrote that book. This is how I wrote this wasn't my first book, okay? The first book I wrote was about being a failed musician. Because I was a musician for a long time, and I wrote a book about that. It was called I Could Have Been an Astronaut. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, but I ended up being a failed musician. And I wrote this book about, you know, I could have been an astronaut. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, the first book I wrote about business stuff was that book about book selling, online book selling, you know. And the way I wrote that book, guys, was I got me a pack of index cards. And I said, well, I want at least 10 chapters in this book. So I brainstormed. I didn't think about how many. I mean, I knew I wanted at least 10 chapters, but what I did was every important subject that I could think of that I wanted to talk about when it came to book selling, I would write it on an index card. Just whatever came to my mind. Okay. Oh, I want to talk about pricing. I write it on that card. Oh, I want to talk about this. Oh, I write it on that card. Just a simple word. I'd write it down, right? And I take those index cards and I put them out on the table. And I'd like, if some of them kind of fit into the other category, I put them under those until basically I had like a set of like, you know, 10 or 15 cards, and I like put them in order of how I wanted to write them, right? And then I gathered all my index cards up and I had it in order, and that was like my book. And I had like 10 or 15 cards, and that was my book, and it was in order. And then what I did was, because I didn't feel like writing a book in order, it seemed overwhelming to me to write this book. And it was like, dude, I can't write a whole book. I don't got time for that. What I did was I wrote all the chapters on a Word document, and like just like in my free time, I would just like pick a chapter that I felt like writing about. And like that night, I would just write about that chapter. And also, it felt too overwhelming to me to have to talk about grammar and stuff, and to worry about the grammar and exactly how I wanted to word everything. I wanted to take away that burden of perfection. So for me to get this book done, I knew I was going to have to take away the burden of perfection. It was really just about me getting the information out onto the page. So when I picked out a chapter, I would just write about what I was trying to say. And I didn't care if it was a complete sentence or if the grammar was wrong. I didn't care about any of that. I just got it down, right? Then every night I would pick a different chapter and I would work on that one. And pretty soon I had a book done. It took like maybe 10 or 15 days. It didn't take that long. It kind of came together pretty fast. And then once I got it done, I went back and I edited. I did the same thing with editing, right? Each night I would pick a different chapter and I would edit it and try to make it look nicer to the best of my ability, right? And that's how the book came together, right? And then I just put it up on Amazon for sale. And let me tell you something. I thought that book was going to make me millions of dollars. I really did. I thought this book's going to make me rich. And it didn't. It did not, But it was a great experience. And after that book, eventually that book, I decided, you know what? I'm not done with the concepts in this book yet. I'm not done with these concepts yet. So what I think I'll do is I'll make a membership program, and I'll make each chapter of the book a different page on my membership program, and I'll put a video over top of it talking about the stuff that was in that chapter. And that membership program became adventuresontheriver.com. That was my first membership program, guys. And that's really my first online business was adventuresontheriver.com. And it started with that little book about online book selling, right? But that was experience, and I could tell you some stories, man. Like I succeed in spite of myself many times. How many of you guys out there feel like you succeed in spite of yourself? Well, maybe sometimes you feel like you fail. You try and you fail, you try and you fail. The key is like not giving up. Like, take it in stride. Just take the failures like, okay, this is not working the way I want. How can I fix this problem? And not giving up on the situation. If you have a vision, don't give up on it. The fact of the matter is that little book wasn't selling very good on Amazon, but I started a YouTube channel talking about online book selling. And then I started driving traffic to the book and it started selling because of the YouTube channel. So I figured something out, right? I can drive traffic to my stuff with this YouTube channel and it'll sell. Well, I mean, there's no reason under the sun why the membership program wouldn't be selling if the little book was selling. So when I opened the membership program, adventuresontheriver.com, at first, it wasn't selling at all. For 2 months, it didn't sell a single membership. And, I was like, this is crazy. If I can drive people with the YouTube channel to the ebook, then why can't I get them to buy this thing? What's going on here? What's happening? It took me 2 months to figure out I should probably check my checkout process and see if it's actually working. And it wasn't, guys. It wasn't working. And the reason I didn't check it was because I figured if it wasn't working, someone would just tell me it wasn't working. Hey, dude, I want to buy this, but it's not working. How do I buy this thing that's not working? That seems logical to me, but that is not the way it works online. There's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of other places to go, and your customers online have very short attention spans because of the nature of the internet. It doesn't mean they're stupid. It doesn't mean your customers are stupid. Many times, especially in the internet marketing space, your customers are very savvy. However, they have short attention spans, especially when they're online. That's the nature of being online. You kind of have these short attention spans. They even say that, the online environment is changing the way we think. It's like reprogramming our brains. It's reducing our short-term memories and making us read differently and stuff. It's kind of scary, honestly. You kind of wonder, if in the future, it's going to be limited as to how much time you're supposed to spend on the internet because it'll mess your brain up or something. You got to kind of wonder, But this whole internet thing, it hasn't really been around that long in the grand scheme of things. They really don't know. I mean, when you think about, remember those hat makers? They used to make the hats, but the hats had lead in them or arsenic in them or something. It had something in it that was poisoning the hat makers. If you guys remember what that was, let me know. I kind of forget for some reason. It was either lead or arsenic that the hats, the material they used to make the hats had that in there. and it was poisoning them and making them sick. But for a long time, they used it to make these hats. Eventually, they figured out, hey, this stuff's bad for us, and they stopped using it. But the point is, we haven't been using the internet that long. We really don't know how bad it is for us, do we? So anyways, look, I'm kind of rambling on, but the point of that whole thing was I tried a lot of stuff. I tried a lot of stuff. And that Adventures on the River thing, for 2 months, it didn't make any money. I spent 3 days trying to fix it myself, you guys. Poring over blog articles, poring over YouTube videos, trying to figure out how to fix my sales checkout plugin thing. I couldn't figure it out. Finally, I gave up. I'm such a cheapskate. Finally, I gave up, and I was like, forget it. I'm just going to pay someone on Fiverr to fix it. And you know why I didn't want to pay someone on Fiverr in the first place to fix it? I'll tell you why. Because I was scared to give someone my WordPress password. That's why. I didn't feel comfortable picking some weird dude off of Fiverr to fix my website and having to give them my password. It made me feel kind of funky and weird. I just wanted to fix it myself. But it wasn't working out. So for 3 days, I couldn't fix it myself. So I said, screw it. I'll figure something out. Let's just do this. So I went to Fiverr, got someone, paid them $5. Guys, they had it fixed in 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes, it was fixed. Done. And within 24 hours, I had my first sale on adventuresonthe-river.com. And like that was the start of my first online business, really. But it was kind of rode on the back of my experiences on Amazon. And then, when I finally closed the doors to adventuresonthe-river.com, it was because I didn't have anything to say about Amazon anymore. I was done talking about Amazon, and I didn't want to talk about it. And I had to take this big leap of faith to move on and start epicconversions.com. But the point is, it was like not that big of a leap of faith because I'd already done it before. I mean, there's a confidence that comes, you guys. There's a confidence that comes with being able to do something. Once you've already done it once, there's a whole different thing. It's not the same mental. You don't have the same limiting belief. Once you've done something once, the limiting belief is gone. Now that you know you can do it, it doesn't feel as hard to do it. So yeah, I closed the doors on that. I started that one, and boom. And here we are 2 years later. We're almost going into 3 years now for Epic Conversions. Still going strong. Made a lot of money with Epic Conversions. It's a great little publishing company, and it's in line with what I want to talk about and the things I want to teach and stuff. But the point is experience. It was built on the back of experience, just trying things, teaching things that I've done that worked for me, and trying things, right? So that's what I would say, guys. Get out there. If you're informed. Now, I'm guessing anybody who's watching this right now, you are an informed beginner. I don't meet a lot of beginners that are not somewhat informed. I meet, especially on Facebook. I meet a lot more uninformed beginners on YouTube, but on Facebook, most of the beginners here are very informed. It's a lot of informed beginners on Facebook, and so if you're out there and you're an informed beginner, I would say, humble yourself a little bit. Just because you're informed about something, it doesn't mean that you're not a beginner, So humble yourself a little bit. It's good that you have that knowledge, but you have to get out there. You have to get out there and get some experience, and you have to try some things and document what you've done. Okay. And I want to give you a little path before I get off here. I really want to give you some good value today. I want to give you a little bit of a path. 1 second, guys. Just want to check something. Yeah, I just want to give you a little bit of a path for this whole, getting some experience and graduating from beginner land, because I'd like to see all of you guys have that beginner, starting that consistent income. I think to graduate from beginner status, the first thing you want to do, the first goal, I'm going to give you a set of 4 goals to graduate from beginner status the online business boss, right? Be the boss, right? Boss level thinking. All right. So number one, and this was the path I took. Okay. Number one, get to a consistent income online. I'm not saying a job quitting income. I'm not saying a bill replacing income. I'm saying just get to a place where every single month you're making money, whether it's $5, $10, $15 a month, whatever it is. Get to a place where you're making money online every single month, doing that thing that your business does, whatever you've defined your business to do, whether that's a blog, you're writing blog articles, you're doing affiliate reviews, whatever you're doing, get to a place where you're making consistent money every month with that thing. It doesn't need to be a lot of money. It could be $1 a month. But that's the first goal. Get to where that business is actually producing revenue every month, right? Number two, get that revenue to bill paying revenue, right? My second goal for my business when I started was, the first goal was to get to the consistent income. And then the second goal was, man, if I could just make enough money to like pay this rent, because we were renting an apartment at the time. We hadn't bought a house yet. But if I could just, make enough online to like pay my rent, like that would be so awesome, like, because our rent was like, I don't know, $600 or $700 a month. And it was like, if I could just make that a month, that would be so awesome, because that would just take a big burden off of what I'm trying to do, and that was the second goal. So it doesn't have to be your rent or your mortgage, but, pick a credit card or pick a bill, maybe your electric bill, pick your electric bill or something and say, man, if I could just get enough money to pay my electric bill every month, that's the goal I'm trying to get to, right? But that's bill paying income, right? And if you can get to that, that's a great second goal, right? Then my personal third goal was, once I achieve that, and the funny thing about these goals are usually right before you achieve one, your eyes are already set on the next one, right? Because you already see that this goal is possible and you're about to overcome it. So then your mind is like moving on to the next one. That's kind of how it worked for me. But the third goal was job replacing income, right? So once you got it to where you're sustainably paying that bill or paying a few of your bills with your online income every month, move on to the next goal. And that next goal is replacing all the income with the online income. Can you do that, right? Can you do that? Can you get to where your online income can replace all your other stuff that's going on? You can pay all your bills, just your bills. I'm not talking about like, a bunch of extra money. I'm just talking about you have this many bills a month between your mortgage or your rent and your utility bills or credit card bills or whatever kind of bills you have. Get to a place where your online income is covering all of those bills, right? Form your business. I'm not talking about juggling 1,000 pans in the air or 1,000 pies in the air and like doing all these different things. I'm talking about your business, whatever you define your online business as. See if you can get that business to support all those monthly bills, right? And then the fourth one, guys, the fourth one is sustainability and confidence, right? With the fourth one, getting your online business to a place where like it's expected. You just know you're going to make this much money every single month, and you know the path to grow it, and it's sustainable. You know how the business is sustainable. You see how it's sustainable, and you have that confidence because you've done it, and you know how to do it. And at that point, you can quit your job. You're done. You don't need your job. If you know how to make money online, this is the best way to do it, guys. This frees you up for so many other things. It really does. I can't stress it enough. You want to get to that fourth goal of sustainability and confidence. Once you understand sustainability and confidence, you're home free, man. You can grow it, you can do it, and you're good. Anyways, guys, this has been kind of a long video, but I hope you found it helpful. And I hope you got some value out of this video today. If so, leave me a like, man. Give me a comment. Let me know you're live out there. Oh, the other thing is, I'm thinking, guys, I'm only going to start leaving these videos on Facebook for 24 hours, and then I'm going to move them over to my YouTube channel in like a playlist. So all these live streams on Facebook, they're going to be archived on my YouTube channel, on the Zero Fast Returns YouTube channel, in a playlist called, ECPM 2019 live streams. That's my Facebook group, Epic Conversions Private Mastermind. But it says ECPM 2019 live streams or something like that. You'll find it. It's over on my YouTube channel, Zero Fast Returns. You'll find it. The reason I'm doing it, guys, first of all, I want to get more subscribers on my YouTube channel. I want people to, hang out on my YouTube channel and enjoy the content I'm putting on my YouTube channel. But also because I noticed the content that I put on Facebook, it's kind of a slave to the timeline, right? Usually I can put this content out here today and people can enjoy it today, but by tomorrow it's buried. It just goes way down in the timeline. Most people don't even see it. And Facebook, you guys, Facebook controls what you see. Like, they control all the stuff you see. There's a good chance I'll be putting a video out every day. Most of you guys won't even see it. And it might be cool information that you need or that can help you or that might flip a switch for you and move you to the next level. But you won't even see it, man, because Facebook's like, you don't need to see that. Some dumb algorithm is going to decide what kind of content you need to see. And I'm not down with that, man. I think that's stupid. So anyways, I think I'm going to leave these videos on Facebook 24 hours. Tomorrow, before I do another Facebook live stream, I'm going to delete this one off of here, put it up on my YouTube channel, so it'll still be online. You can still get it, but the thing is, it's going to be easier for you to access from my YouTube channel. It's going to be in a playlist. They're all going to be right there, nice and organized. All you guys are familiar with YouTube. You know how to use YouTube. It's super easy. And what I'll start doing is I'll start putting a link to my YouTube channel under these videos or whatever. But I think that's best because, like I said, number one, I want to get more people involved with my YouTube channel. And number two, I think people lose the content after 24 hours anyway. It gets buried in all the new information. So that's what I'm going to start doing. So anyways, I hope this video has been valuable to you guys. I hope you got a little value out of it. And that's it. I've rambled on long enough. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another one. Peace, everybody.